Hi, this is Ian Michael. I release music under the name IR Michael. I play guitar, I play bass, I sing, I do a little computer programming. Yeah, I just released two projects called Lemons and Limes and All in the Family. And yeah, that's the deal. I started playing guitar really young, probably around like 7 or 8. And I remember I got an acoustic guitar for my birthday. It's the same guitar if you watch Tenacious D Pick of Destiny. There's a guitar Jack Black has that says Monster Mash on it. That was the first one I ever got. Really early on, I got really lucky. I had a next door neighbor when I was like 10 or 11 who had a band, and I was in it. And I have evidence of this band and have like a CDR of it or something. Probably back in 2019, I wrote a few tunes with my friend Victor, and I wanted to kind of do this sort of open power trio, kind of not really rehearsing a band, but having these sort of tunes. We did a few shows, and they were really fun, really successful, and I was like, okay, I want to record these. COVID hit. I couldn't record them, and so I was kind of holding on to this music for a really long time. Finally, I had a friend who was the head engineer of a studio, and this is kind of like 2021 now, being like, hey, we got this deal for artists. If you want to come in, you can get these number of days for this rate. And so I was like, okay, I want to do that. And I had that music, and by that point, a few more songs for a project, and that's what became All in the Family. In the meantime, I was also recording at home kind of these like free-form experimental pieces of music that I really liked. It started to feel like those had the same amount of potential as the material I spent a lot of time on in the studio. And I started really making a lot of those types of tracks. And that's what became Lemons and Limes.
The new album from I.R. Michael. Lemons and Limes.
I was finding that if I recorded, when I was working on one project, like recording something for Lemons and Limes, when I got tired of doing that, I'd go back to All in the Family and mix stuff and do some overdubs. And then I was tired of doing that, I'd go back to Lemons and Limes. And so I started noticing that both these projects really were kind of two sides of the same coin. When it comes to like the length of the tunes, when I listened to them all the way through, I didn't really want to repeat anything. There was also maybe like a more heady reference, was like the Commercial album by The Residents. And they had a whole thesis behind it where all those songs are literally like a minute long, and the whole thesis was all pop songs are basically just one form repeated twice with maybe a bridge in the middle. And so if you just have it as one time around on the form, that's a song and it's over. It is sort of literal for me. Like half the songs I considered limes and the other half of the songs I considered lemons. And in my head, the ones that were lemons were like the really kind of dissonant ones, like Dead Rat Alert, or like Not Sure If You Saw That, or Bad Poem. And then the other half were like kind of songs. Those were like the limes. They're kind of maybe more palatable. Yeah, I originally wanted it to be back and forth, I guess lime, lemon. Like I found I couldn't really get that pattern right, so I did break it technically. There's a track called Numb at the Wall of Fear, and I knew I wanted that to be immediately before Sound for the Summer, and I knew I wanted Sound for the Summer to be kind of more or less the center of the record.
Featuring all your favorites.
I was stocking groceries while I wrote that. When I went to school, I remember I had a guitar teacher, and he's like a pretty avant-garde guitar player, and he was a member of like the Lounge Lizards and worked with like guys like John Zorn and like the 80s and 90s. And I remember he kind of made a statement where he's like, audiences really can handle a lot more dissonance and kind of difficult music than I think musicians expect. Like, if you really take them on a journey, they're there for it. I've always really stuck by that because I kind of believe it. I just think in general, people can kind of handle weirder shit than what's expected. And if you kind of give someone something to latch on to at some point, it will allow for people to be kind of, maybe endeared to the music. Another project I'm working on. Probably another one that is worth mentioning directly is Dance Trio, which is this kind of instrumental group that's 2 guitars, saxophone, drums. Well, I have a whole batch of tunes that I'm working on right now. I got about 10 or 11. And yeah, the idea is more or less trying to combine them. I think in general, the palette I like the most and the things I get most excited by is more the Lemons and Limes side. I like the All in the Family stuff a lot, but that's not really how I've been hearing music lately. Having other people play on it as well, kind of like All in the Family. So that's definitely the next step.